So in this video I'm just going to be discussing some of the comments and audience feedback I've received from my focus group for question 3 of the evaluation questions. I'm going to be looking at how I've used the comments to improve my work. I'll start off with just putting some of the positive comments I've received from my peers, my teachers, my focus group and strangers on the screen now. And now these are some of the negative comments I've received. I haven't received many negative comments because people always like to be nice. But yeah, these are a few negative comments. So I've used the positive comments to kind of look back on my work and see what I've done correctly, and also I've taken some of the positive comments and I've looked at them and see whether I agree with those positive comments, because even though people are saying really nice things about it, I might disagree with what they're saying. If they say that I've used the sound really well, I might go, well, I haven't used the sound very well here, and I might want to improve that section. So at the same time as taking in the positive feedback, I've kind of switched it around and tried to use the feedback as my own feedback as well. And obviously with the negative feedback, I'm able to make some improvements and some changes. I know before my teacher said that it wasn't crazy enough, so I needed to represent her psychological difficulties in more of a crazy way with the editing, so I was able to go back and make some more cuts and add some more effects like the strobe and the flicker and the blink, and I was able to make it look more crazy. So from the comments I've received about the production stages of my film, the ancillary tasks as well, I have learnt that making a short film by myself is pretty difficult to do. However, it's manageable if you manage your time correctly. I think you've really got to look out for which parts that you're spending more time on than others. For example, I spent a lot of time on my storyboarding. Maybe I should have spent more time on focusing on my sound editing, or even my lighting in a few of the clips, from, like the colour grading. I should have focused on a bit more. I know I spent a lot of time on set, you know, in my locations with my actors, but maybe I should have spent more time thinking about some of the shots. So yeah, doing it as a single project on my own without hardly any help apart from my actors has taught me a lot about the filmmaking process, because I've literally had to do everything in a structured way with time management. And that's one of the hardest things I found throughout the whole production stages, was the time management, finding the time to do different things and really just try and create it and put it together all by myself. So I think in the future I would find it easier to work in a group. However, for this individual task, I think it was okay for me to work alone. I think I managed it okay. I'm quite surprised how I managed it. So now I've got the skills from doing this project alone. I think I can take the comments and the feedback that I've got, and then I can apply it to how I use it in a group setting in the future. So when if I go into the industry or at university or anything where I'm in a group setting, I can apply my knowledge from doing it alone to try and spreading it out into groups and having people do different tasks throughout the production process, so that it makes it easier. So the process of actually getting the audience feedback is quite tricky unless you have people who are willing to, you know, put themselves out there and say, okay, yeah, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this, but then you could do this better. Unless you've got people actually willing to do that, and it's just people saying, oh yeah, okay, I'll fill out this form, then it can be a bit tricky to get proper audience feedback, especially like ones that you can actually see they're insightful instead of, yeah, that was good. Okay, if you want constructive criticism, then yeah, you need some different people to try and look at it and get more insights into it. I posted a link on Facebook for my friends to fill out the survey online on SurveyMonkey. However, I think I only got 5 responses from that, and I've got over 100 Facebook friends. So even though you put it out there on social media, it doesn't mean that everyone's going to come back and you're going to get over 100 responses. So that's also something to think about in the future. Unless you actively send something to someone and say, please fill this out, they're not likely to do it. I think the most effective way of getting feedback I've found was actually just showing my film to someone and saying, can I have some feedback on this? What do you think? And they tell it to me verbally. I think people prefer that maybe to having to fill out a survey in very structured questions and answers, because they might not feel that the answer that you've put there in a closed question is actually what they want to say about your film. So that is question 3's video over. You can find more on question 3 on my blog, and yeah.